Hi everyone! So, welcome back. I'm going to take you through today setting up for a Hobbit movie night. I don't really have a plan, and that's okay. Basically, we're gonna go shopping in my workshop and we're gonna pull something together pretty much right here, I think. So in terms of inspiration, I would have loved to do like the Shire in terms of Bilbo Baggins, like a study. You know, it feels something where you want to cozy down into a big cushy armchair. I don't have an armchair like that, so we're going to go more for the unexpected party. I thought the easiest way of doing this, let's just quickly run through the scene here. I'm just gonna talk through and come up with some ideas on the fly, and then yeah, we'll just see how we go. So lots of plates of food, wood cabinets. So you see the food, you've got lots of snacks. There's a barrel behind him. Ideas of my wood chairs I can use in my dining room. I think I've got a teapot I can use for that one. Beeswax candles, so you're gonna definitely want that if you can. Tomatoes. Tankards. So this is gonna be inspiration for the charcuterie board on a smaller scale. So basically his whole pantry is out on the table. So I think you can get some inspiration from that. Lots of wood, tankards. I don't know if they've got wood ones, I've got metal. Poor Bilbo. Doilies. He's got hanging herbs up in the corner there. Garlic hanging up. We've got sausages hanging around. You can see up at the top there's like lots of those hanging herbs, so I think we'll use quite a bit of that. So I think we've got a rough idea here for having watched that. I think what we're going to try to do is create a bit of a Bilbo's pantry in the corner here, just to kind of replicate, just because there needs to still be space for chairs in here and it's not a big room. So I think if we've got some wooden crates, vegetables, potted things, just like preserved fruits and so on, that can be kind of stacked in the corner here. Dried herbs that we're hanging up, and even some fresh stuff. I think the main thing is kind of getting those wooden boxes and filling them with like things like cabbages and whatever. That will kind of create that abundance of food feel that we're seeing in Bilbo's pantry. If you're looking at wooden bowls, clay pottery, tankards, if you happen to have them. If not, pop to the op shop. That's where I found mine. Sometimes it's hit and miss. You need to kind of pop around a bit. So that will help create that very quick and very easy sort of setup for a Hobbit movie night. Anyways, with that, let's head into the workshop and we'll get started. Come on. You gonna come help? So here we go. Can't say that this is anything fancy in here, but this is where I keep a lot of my stuff. Tankards. So ideally, we did have wood ones in the movie. You are going to want to just grab whatever you have on hand. Even these can be really good, or even Irish coffee mugs can be sort of a next backup. I'm going to grab ones like this. And unfortunately, I don't actually have things nicely organized in here, so we're just going to have to wing it. Anything that has sort of like brown colors, so you've got your coppers, sort of more clay looking like ones. That can be really nice if you're doing like dips. Wooden, again, serving spoons. Let's just grab a little bit of everything and just throw it back in. You definitely need candle holders. Depends on the size of everything. Let's see if we can squeeze those all in. You do have metals. I'm going to try using as much wood as I can first, though. This color actually might be quite nice, just so it'll keep things contained. Obviously, we've got the wooden crates like this as well. I do have the walnut box that I made previously, and I've also got, don't get stuck in here, obviously got my garden box I made the other year. That can work well. Even some of your grays, as long as you've got your woods. Oh, if you've got clay pots like that, that can be cute. Tankards. I thought I had them around. Oh, here we go. Oh, actually even jars like this. Oh, I can fill these with some bits and bobs. These two will be really quite nice though. Hello. So even if you don't serve drinks in them, they can do really nicely holding cutlery on the side. I do have some of these grayish bowls. Those are always kind of nice. It's not like really dark and it's not wood. Start with this. Good girl. This is also some of the stuff that I bought the other day when I was at the op shop. So we've got a nice little teapot. This is the board that I had found at the op shop the other day, which I'm absolutely loving. It's got beautiful detail to it. I'm obviously not going to do an entire big table spread, but then this is also going to work really nicely just in terms of holding. You know, the one thing I really drives me nuts whenever I do charcuterie boards is when they don't have ledges. I'm always afraid when I'm carrying things that things are going to tip over. So I absolutely love that this all kind of comes up. These could either be used as serving plates. What I love is you're going to notice that I've got the different shades of brown. I think that's really important whenever you're doing something a bit more rustic. You don't want anything to look too flat, otherwise you just completely lose the feel of it. So in terms of holding things, I could always use this side table here. That could look nice. I think I'm gonna go for something a little bit more rustic, which means going into my garden. That just kind of feels a bit more, I don't know, pantry. Yeah, I'm gonna jump in. Yes, I know. Can I take this too? Yeah, keep moving. Like this is something that you would put out more in the library rather than like pantry space for the Hobbit. At least, I guess we're gonna start pulling this all together here. So, creating these wooden crates and filling them with vegetables. I am gonna give you a little tip. You don't actually need to buy a huge amount of vegetables and like to fill the entire container. So what I would normally do, grab containers, basically something that you're going to put into the boxes, and then we're going to cover those with brown paper, and it creates that extra space. And then you're going to put your vegetables on top of that. That way you aren't having to buy huge amounts of veggies that end up going to waste. This is a grocery bag, just turned inside out. Slide your bowl in. Tuck in your corners. Pop that down. Other options are potato bags or mushroom bags. They've got that brown. Again, you just flip them inside out. Worst case scenario, you can also grab your brown sandwich bags, and that, again, it's smaller. You might have to tear these open to kind of get that scrunch, but that works just as well. All right, I'm gonna start by popping in some of the larger pieces, especially getting them to sit on top. He's going a little off, so we're just going to keep him in the corner there. Tuck this behind. Let's just quickly talk about what sort of fruits and vegetables you might want to grab to make it feel like you're in The Hobbit. The main thing that you're wanting to keep in mind is traditional European foods that would have been found sort of medieval times in England, and that kind of gives you a pretty good baseline of what kind of fruits and vegetables to grab to pop onto your little pantry setup here. So you're looking at things like potatoes, carrots, cabbages. I'm gonna grab some brown onions, probably turnips, mushrooms, apples. If you're gonna put any fruits, apples would be a major one. If it's in season, you can do quince as well. Trying to think what else. I've got my nasturtium seeds that I pickle, so that's in these jars. But anything else like blackberry jams, anything like that, it doesn't matter. You can always cover the label. If you have like sort of checkered fabric, you can cut squares and then just pop them on top as well. I also wanted to mention some of the things you might not find in Hobbiton, just so you can keep that off your list. I've got a feeling that things that are from far off tropical islands are off the books for this one. So mangoes you are not adding, bananas you would not have as well, unless someone kept a greenhouse in a Hobbiton and had those growing. Things like avocados or kiwis, I'm gonna use these to hold some of my smaller pieces. So went and grabbed my walnuts, chestnuts as well. So we're gonna fill these up. Okay, so grabbed a few herbs from the backyard. Didn't have much, but I do have a little bit of thyme, some sage, and some rosemary, just to add that splash of green. They're just like nice earthy kind of herbs. And also, yeah, it just kind of balances off all the brown that's going on in the little pantry setup here. When we're talking about lighting, we are gonna be using a lot of candles rather than anything that looks artificial. So I have got my little candle holders. Ideally you want beeswax. It's much more authentic. If you don't have them, no big deal. At the end of the day, the lights are off, the movie's playing, and you've got your candles going, it's fine. Again, just keeping in mind you are going to want to consider safety. So I'm going to keep my candle holders on the mantelpiece here. Hopefully they aren't going to interfere with the screen so much. And then anything else that I'm having down here, I'm going to keep in the lanterns. Just that way, in case anyone kicks them or knocks them, it's not going to cause a fire. So try to get it to weave through. I really wanted to get the little teapot in here just because it's cute. Found it in the op shop. Feels very hobbity. I think I'm trying to recreate that same feel of that very first shot where they're pulling all the food off of the pantry shelves. You're wanting also to keep in mind first the screen, but also height. So you want everything to kind of ebb and flow. So you kind of think waves. So you can kind of go like high, then low. You can go even higher, or you can kind of go to a mid, dip it back down, and then up again. So just when you're looking at it straight, it's just something to, I guess, keep in mind. When you put your candles into candle holders, just remember to make sure you heat up the bottom. And that when you put them in, it actually secures it to the candle holder. So safety reasons. I am lighting these now. I'm going to let them burn down, and I'll blow them out at different times, just so when you light them on the night, they're going to be at different heights. You're also going to have more of that drippy candle look going on. That makes it feel like it's been used already, which it obviously already has. Okay, that'll have to do. We pretty much have everything set up. I don't know whether I'm going to do seating or whether I'm going to bring in a small table and some chairs, and that way we can eat. Again, it really depends on what type of like movie night you want to have. There's no reason why you can't have a setup and have your dinner. Some people just want to hang around and eat popcorn. I did want to quickly touch on scent. It's kind of hard to talk about in a video because I'm like, it's not going to go like, here, smell this. This is what it's supposed to be like. But obviously I've got like a lot of herby scent coming through. If you aren't doing this setup like for the day, I would probably leave some of your herbs at least until the day of, before everyone arrives. Like your rosemary, just make sure you grab it and really crush it, and that way it kind of releases the smells, which is beautiful. If you had beeswax candles, the smell of that would be coming off as well. You can do a diffuser. You're in a hobbit hole. It's not like wet dirt, but you do want a bit of that earthiness. Spikenard, for some reason, comes to mind. So the old forest that's near the Shire is a really good inspiration as well. So you probably want to add that extra layer of something like pine or cedar wood into a diffuser. Just keep in mind that some guests are sensitive to smells. Some just, it can cause headaches. The main thing is just when you're using a diffuser, because it does have like a more concentrated smell. Again, it's not supposed to be this thing where you walk through the door and you got smacked in the face with the scent. You kind of just want it like subtly there. But you could add like a candle that has like a hint of tobacco. I know I've got one that's like, it's beautiful. It's got like more woody, earthy smells as well, mixed in with the tobacco smell. So something like that, you might want to light a candle, and that can kind of capture like the scent of Bilbo's hobbit hole.